Yep,
Recording?
we're recording.
Ministry of Local Government, Sweden.
You had any run-ins with them,
Well,
Swede?
Well, this
no.
says it was a ministry in Sweden, so I'm assuming
A ministry of
Does it
what?
give a date range?
the Ministry of Local Government. It ceased in 1982, and the Ministry of Civil Service Affairs took its place.
Yeah, I don't know shit about them. I
Where were
wasn't even
you in
born.
1982?
Not born.
Not even a glint in the milkman's eye. It's a likely story.
Oh my God. And the Ministry of Civil Service Affairs also dissipated and was transformed into the Ministry of Internal Affairs, which was itself disestablished 2 years later. Sweden, get yourself in order.
We were.
Sometimes you just gotta, take something down and put it back together again. You Americans can't get past your constitution. Meanwhile, Sweden's revamping its Ministry of Internal Affairs every 5 minutes. They're not bogged down by the past.
Okay, sometimes you just
I
gotta
say
have
about
to
the country that has a fucking monarchy.
Hey now, just because we have a monarchy doesn't mean
It doesn't
you
mean
also have
I'd
a
love to
monarchy.
know where
Yeah,
you were
but-
going with that, Swede.
You also have a monarchy, Snake. You're not allowed to talk.
Yeah, but I don't like them.
Neither do I. I always got ran over by them.
What's the point?
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think that is the best story I've heard from anyone who lives in a country with a monarchy is, yeah, they almost ran me over.
Okay, so last we left off, you had everything in order to you met with the Bright Circle and their leader Bright for a deal, making a deal for protection from violent acts made your way, and his influence, or his wider influence in getting things to go your way. In exchange for he gets a say in the map of power plants and power lines. And after doing that, you left. You went to Palmer's house, and the next day you were greeted by the private eye that you had turned against O'Malley. You learned that O'Malley was meeting up with your rival businessmen, hoping to sabotage you. He knew about your light of Pathaton, and he was planning to steal it. So you had him feed the information to O'Malley of where it was, and you made a fake light of Pathaton that was actually a bomb, and you let it get stolen. It blew up, killed some of the businessmen, and that cleared the way for you to make way to the meeting to ensure your contract. But O'Malley had survived the explosion and ambushed you with a bunch of taxi people. But the Bright Circle came in, defended you. You drove off, but O'Malley stuck to the bottom of your taxi, and he murdered Phelan, the government elf who was your in with the city council.
I do like government elf, as if that's a
Yeah.
position.
And after doing that, he escaped into a manhole chased by guards, and you went into the city council meeting anyway without him to plead your case. You got a 9-5 vote in your favor to be awarded the contract, and you established the Custer Transit Authority successfully. You left the creation of the power lines and all that, and all the engineering and all that, and the running of it in Palmer's hands, along with whoever else you wanted to assign to working that. I'm assuming you got some Midas people in on that.
Yeah.
And did you set up to? Actually, I'll ask you now. Would you have set up to make contact with the guy who met you in the restaurant, Elliot Norris?
We can do
The
that, yeah.
in-betweener? Yeah, you want him on your side. Okay.
Yeah. There
You're
were a
cutting
couple of
him
things we
loose.
might want to move on from quickly, but there were a couple of There were a couple of things I wanted to get in line, but they'd be kind of dry.
All right. We'll do that soon. I'll just finish
Yeah,
the wrap up.
sure.
So yeah, you left that in Palmer's hands. The newspapers talked about O'Malley questioning his status as public enemy number one, and the major newspapers seem to the reporter cast doubt on your innocence and blamelessness in the violence of the day due to some comments and dodged questions from Cherry made to a reporter. So your reputation is, being challenged, but you do have the contract for the Country Transit Authority. And with that in hand, you then look to your next venture, where you read a paper detailing opportunities in both Yuma and Terrebonne, and after much consideration, decided that you would make your way to Yuma to see what was going on, where the cosmological events have been raining meteors on that town. And there's blowing holes in the wall, there are bandits about, and opportunists everywhere, and you want to get in on that. So, there we go. We'll pick up where we left off. It's the morning, you've decided to go to Yuma. What do we want to get in order?
So, before we leave, I do one last stop off, kind of, wherever we were doing our dealings with Custer, just arranging the transit authority, seat of government. Because I want to do one last meeting with whoever has now been assigned as, like, basically head of transportation, of managing all of that.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Because there are a couple of things I think he needs to be let in on.
Yeah,
Which
so
he might not be too happy about, but you should probably know them.
Yeah, the transportation secretary is a man named Louis Reese.
Louis Reese. Okay.
Yeah.
Louis.
Alright, mid-session O's.
You're told he's quite busy, but when you're recognized as the person, with the contract, you are allowed to go meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I'm in his office, kind of, is it just us two in his office?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Lydian kind of sits down across from him, offers his hand to shake. Wow, Louis, it's a pleasure to meet you. Sorry about what happened to your prior.
Yeah, that was a very unexpected turn of events. Heard much about you, though.
You've got a lot of work ahead, and I'll be around to help in whatever way I can, though business ventures elsewhere do call to me. But just drop me a line, you know how those papers work.
Mm-hmm.
But before I make my way, I figure there's a couple of things you should know right now, for clarity's sake.
Yeah, he sort of raises his eyebrow. And what would those be?
There are a couple of rumors about me. Some of them, I'm gonna say neither here nor there, but if there are any rumors going around about deals with the Bright Circle, you should know something.
Yeah, he leans in. Yeah.
Former business owners did try to take my life, and it's only thanks to assistance from them that I was able to survive, but that assistance did not come freely.
I see.
I cut a deal with them which I've tried to make amenable to the city itself. I may have gotten in bed with criminals, but trust me when I say I've kept them to their side of the sheets. I promised them 2 power stations. They agreed that they will be out of the way and not well trafficked by guards. See to it that they get those power stations and see to it that they are out of the way of our transport network.
I'm not happy about this, but we do need to avoid with everything, with all the chaos recently. The last thing we need is to anger them.
Chaos.
Look at it this way. Yes, we cut a deal. Yes, we've given criminals something that maybe they don't rightly deserve, but from what I understand, this city's been in a bit of a turmoil. They've been grabbing and taking whatever they can get. I've given them two things that they're going to be satisfied with. They're going to be calmer from here on out. Besides, before they get those power stations, who's to say we can't put a little something in place in case they do get too uppity?
What did you have in mind?
You work for the city. You probably have contacts with the guards. You work it out.
That'll be something to keep in mind. I suppose I'll have to talk to some of my superiors about this.
It's something they're going to have to know. Just bear in mind, this could be a good thing. Yeah, we're giving them something, but on the other hand, we're giving them something that's going to calm them down a little. You're going to know where they're going to be.
That much is true.
Right.
I'll need to make sure that the captain of the guard doesn't hear about this, though.
Send it through whatever channels you think needs to know, and keep it from whatever channels don't need to know. You've got a lot of work ahead, but trust me, in the long run, this is good for the city. I can feel it.
Very well, but if anything goes up, understand, you're on the hook for being involved with them.
Lydian kind of puts his hand up. Guilty as charged, but just know when it comes down to it, I've done the city a favor.
Let's hope you're correct. And yeah, he writes a few things down.
Let me put it this way, Lewis. I've been through a lot of scrapes. I've got my cuts and nicks. I've got my scars. But I walked into this city, and everyone who stood in my way is now out of the way. I'm the winning team. Just got to bet on me.
Yeah, he nods and just says, presuming that O'Malley is caught.
He took one run at me and failed. Why do you think act number 2 is going to go any different?
Especially when you're not in town. I don't know. Something about that guy rubs me. Something about that guy seems. Well, he's had a run of. He's been an odd presence in the city ever since he arrived.
I've looked into his history. He's a man who's gotten by on being near smarter people and a whole lot of luck. Now he's got no one around him. He's got nothing. He ain't coming back.
Alright. I'll trust that. Hope it works out for the best.
Well, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Indeed.
And yeah, Lydian shakes his hand, gets up, and makes his way back to home.
Alright. And there anything else? Any more affairs you guys need to wrap up in Custer?
No, I don't think so.
So if there is nothing else, I was gonna say. So talked about this with you after last session. Cherry is 5 XP away from level 11, which would introduce November. That being said, like, I think just in universe, it makes more sense to bring up, like, hey, we could probably use some hired security, like, before leaving town on, like, the thing and with the whole mob thing. I'm fine with waiting because, I don't necessarily want to start with, like, negative 5 XP, but I don't know. I wanted, what is the feeling there on...
I'm cool either way. I think.
Yeah, I'm fine whatever.
Whichever way it flows. That I think is your and Neo's call on this one.
Let me think. I guess it comes down to this. Where do you think it would make more sense for? Because I see her showing up in one of 3 locations. It's gonna be either here in Custer. I think you guys are planning on stopping off in Marion.
We could do that if it works.
She
'Cause,
might-
yeah,
she might be there.
we've got to take Dwight to the casino anyway to get him his new gig.
Or she could show up in Yuma, in which case, when you get there.
I think that'd be
Actually,
a bit
you say
chaotic.
Marion, it would I
Which,
may
what do you think makes more sense for her to be right now, given her backstory?
I think like Custer makes more sense than Yuma. Certainly, Marion doesn't make a particular amount of sense. Though I was gonna say, did we have business dealings in Morricone still? I know we were there, but I don't know if we have anything still there. I don't.
Lydian had last you were at Marcone. Lydian was working out the keeping everyone, bringing in his contracting service as well as the builders as well as the transportation
Yeah,
service.
the rebuilding efforts in.
For the
yeah.
rebuilding efforts, and
I
he had
don't-
gotten the people on his side there and the Marif. So there's nothing to really check in with there, unless you wanted to.
I think we'd be going
mean-
to stop off in Marion, then go on to Yuma, but because that's following the
This is
roads.
mostly because you got to drop
Yeah.
off Dwight is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
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 Dwight
Um,
Laura.
It might be a bit busy picking her up in Yuma when the town is already in distress, and also you'd want to pick up protection before going into that place rather than on the
Okay.
go.
Yeah, it makes
but-
more sense for her to be in Custer, I suppose. So I'll allow it.
Or even just outside of Custer,
Yeah.
like potential. But yeah, sort of thing. Morricone probably makes the most sense, but it doesn't make a particular amount of sense for us to like make that stop just to try and hire someone when there's presumably people to hire
Mhm.
here in Custer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we want to do that then.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Let's go
Introduce the other characters. All right, so as we're preparing to leave, Sherry sort of approaches Lydian and is, so I've been thinking. Yesterday we were in a bit of a predicament. Lives were lost, and it worked out fine. We had protection here. That ended up being a worthwhile investment, but that's only here, and things sound chaotic where we're going. Have you considered if we hired our own in-house security, so to speak? A bodyguard.
Yeah, Lydian strokes his chin a bit and then, it certainly makes a degree of sense. Our names are getting out there, our profile's only getting greater, more to lose and so on.
You never know if O'Malley might have, be able to hire assassins in another city or whoever else we may meet.
It's not a part of the life well, I knew it was coming, but it's not one I especially anticipate until I saw it. Yeah, we're getting into more and more danger and heading into Yuma, heading into what's already a war zone that's only getting torn apart. We're gonna need some protection, as you say.
What?
If you are
I
in
could invent
favor-
some- I could invent something.
You've invented plenty. Besides,
Oh.
your inventions are great and all, but we need someone who's actually a dat hand at using them.
I am adept at using them, but sure, raw muscle could work, and poor Cogsworth here isn't up to it. No, I wouldn't let anyone hurt you, Cogsworth. No.
Well, like you said, if you are interested in going forward this way, like you said, you're a businessman. This isn't your area, and Nico. In any case, I probably have a bit more experience with dealing with this sort. I'd be happy to go try and find a suitable recruitment if you'd like. Just give me a budget.
Neo, just like I don't know if I'd need to roll thing for this. It just seems like something Lydian would probably know, but what is the cost of like good security typically?
I'll also say it doesn't particularly matter.
I know it
November's
doesn't-
willing
I know
to
it
work
doesn't
with
matter,
under
but-
budget. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it doesn't. I know we're technically getting her for free, but it's got Lydian's response has to make a degree of sense.
Right.
We're hiring someone on presumably an ongoing rota as long as we're in humor and as long as we need their assistance. Actually, God, there is the fucking SRD fucking chart.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm
but
looking
I'm
at that for a way to, as a sort of like jumping off point, and then I'm gonna vibe it out. Hold on.
Yeah, that makes sense. God, it's really, you got to vibe it out from like escort for a day along a bandit infested road, escort for a day along a monster infested road. What's the price
Yeah.
of sending someone into a town that's being hit by meteorites?
Let's see. I'm going to say probably. I think an upfront cost would typically run you, like, since you are just going towards a place that is a little chaotic and you're going along, you might not, you're going to go along the roads maybe or not, but, either way, things can get dangerous on the roads. I would say a upfront cost of like 35 coin
Okay.
would be like what you'd want to hire someone competent.
I'm gonna say then Lydian hands over just 40, just a bit extra, just to make the numbers a bit easier. Lydian hands over 40 coin. About standard rate for a mercenary looking for work, and 5 coin extra for the danger. Find someone who's willing to
Find
walk
the best we can for the money.
Go get them.
I'll meet you when assuming I found someone. I'll meet you with them when we're ready to leave town.
All right, I'll be prepping at the cot. So meet us over that way.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the cart.
And that can happen off camera. We can be introduced to November already.
That's lame. We should have a scene where you get her.
Where you talk to yourself.
God.
Come on.
Come on.
Role play.
Oh God. Please. They'll have to talk to each other enough later.
No.
So you might as well get a feel for it.
There's your Remo.
Oh Jesus Christ. I'm regretting this instantly.
One of us could take over for her.
Oh.
Wow, we have 385 coin on the fucking cart? I didn't check this in a while. What the hell? We're loaded, man. I've been worried about money, and I just thought, why didn't I check the damn cart?
Wait, is that what Lydian just says, like, when he gets back to the cart?
When he's alone, he's just like, Mary, Mother, and Joseph. I don't know who those people are, but we have 385 coin on this cart.
Oh, Mary is his mother's name.
Lydian thinks, wait, I let that dirty rat in here. Or his men, anyway. Oh, thank God they only took... And we got a damn piano! He's forgotten a few things.
wait, we actually have a fucking piano?
Yeah, do you remember the piano in the basement that Flora could play, I believe it was?
Yeah, Flora.
Yeah.
Yes, the basement.
Dwight wanted to bring it along for a scheme, but didn't pan out.
Where's our cart? Where's our cart again?
It's in the garage. It's in holding.
He calls it a garage, eh?
What do you call it?
A car hole.
What do you mean a cart hole? A cart hole?
Well, I call it a vehicle storage area. Actually, what is it?
Let me ask you a question, M. Where
Yes.
in Custer do you think November would be? Like, what kind of place would she be in?
Are there... So it would presumably be someplace like very much like, some sort of like adventurers or like, mercenary soldiers. Is there anywhere where like, former soldiers from the war are like generally gathered looking for work? That would be, like probably where she would be with them. Because, obviously there was a war recently. Probably a lot of people with, combat experience looking for work or people looking to hire them. If there is a version of that or some equivalent of that technically outside of the town, like on the outskirts, outside of the walls, that would probably make more sense than having entered the walls. But if that's the sort of thing you would just find in walls, it is justifiable that she would be in the city.
I'm gonna say in the city, there's a sort of like you ask like you put out feelers,
Mm-hmm.
and there is like there's a sort of like tavern slash lodging area, lodging building that people like to, where a lot of former combatants in the war like to go to seek work, where people know to go there if they need to hire some muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And would she be there, you think?
Oh yeah, that's understandable. She would be explicitly looking for work right now.
Right.
And for something kind of below board, not looking to work for a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Something kind of off the radar. In any case, I imagine Cherry would talk to a few people before November seeking her out, or seeing her, overhearing. I imagine November approaches her is the point.
Right.
Do you really?
How like what would November be doing here? Like, would she just be looking after work, or would she be quiet in a corner somewhere? Or
Be
would
kind of
she ever...
quiet in a corner, more eavesdropping, not necessarily just walking up to people being like, "Hi, do you have work?" Trying to get being a bit selective with it.
Would she ever talk to the others?
Yes, but she would potentially. If she's at all interested, she goes up and she's very sort of interrogative about it. Asking about what the job is. Why they need. Are they looking for something potentially more long term? That sort of thing. Kind of brusque with it. Not particularly good at selling herself.
Right. Would she know any of the other have talked to any of the other adventurers in there, you think? Or mercenaries,
She
people?
would not engage the others in conversation. Some of them might have talked to her, but she would be
Right.
pretty avoidant, dismissive, or not dismissive, but avoidant, just sort of not answering or just being very vague and stuff like that.
Okay. So I'm gonna say, yeah, you're talking to someone,
Mhm.
and
When you say you,
Cherry, you are.
Cherry, yes.
Yeah, you're talking to someone. I think what you would do is you would go to the person who handles like job notice things. You'd probably go up to him and say "Hey, I need to hire someone, and I promptly."
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, so this guy would lean over and he'd be like, "All right, so you need to hire someone now,
That's correct.
and you're looking for just anyone who would have the kind of combat experience you need."
If they're any good.
If
I have
they're
a good
any good.
intuition about these things.
All right. Well, he looks over the room and is he points out some people. They they fought in the war. They're trying to not. They used to be former brigands, but they're trying to stay off of that now. Those two were, he goes through people, kind of pointing them out, and their pros and cons. So it's they're immediately working for work. And then there's how tall is November?
Fairly short. 5'3".
All right.
Not short, but taller than Felina, shorter than like Cherry.
Hmm.
A little shorter than Azora. Maybe 5'4", 5'5" at most.
And then there's well, Miss Brooding over there. Don't know
I'll
much
say that
about her. What?
November isn't necessarily brooding so much as she looks like, an awkward child at the
Yeah.
dance who doesn't know what to do.
Then there's Then there's little Miss Silent over there.
Yeah.
The quite handy with like would at least be known her skills.
Not how good she is or not. She probably hasn't been here long. Only like maybe
But
2 days.
she would have listed her skills.
Yeah, it's known she's a sniper,
Yeah,
a scout
Yeah.
sniper. At best.
quite handy with her rifle. Comes with her own kit. Doesn't talk much, but maybe you'd like that.
Maybe. I'll say yeah. Definitely. November isn't the first person Cherry talks to. Tries out some of the other people first. Like sniper wouldn't be the first thing she would be looking for. But has it, puts a mental pin in Cherry, or in November, but might as well check out some of the others first, which she's probably not particularly impressed by, or is the sort of, well, I'll keep shopping around. Look for they're either demanding too much or kind of arrogant. I think it's November that approaches Cherry first. Do you want me to play that out?
Yes.
Okay.
Just got back to
So-
that.
Alright, making me play it out here. See, this was a scene I wasn't planning on playing out. I had other ones, but so I have to improvise this. Alright, let's see. Yeah, so November eventually walks up to Cherry and just sort of, who is it the job's for? Oh, sorry, hi, I'm Cherry. And she, extends a hand, which November cautiously accepts. I'm here on behalf of... Wait, fuck, what's Lydian's last name? Does he have one?
Minther. Yeah.
Minther, thank you. I'm
he
here on
has
behalf of
one.
Mr. Minther. You might have heard of him. Businessman just just made major strides with local advancement here in the city. Are you from around here? And November just sort of doesn't answer that for a minute before going, no, I'm traveling. Well, Mr. Minther, after conducting business here, opening up the Custer Transit Authority, is setting out for Yuma, and we had some local security, and they did well enough, but as we'll be on the road, we need someone on extremely short notice to provide security work. Is that the sort of thing you're accustomed to doing? November considers for a moment before saying, Scout Sniper, I can keep you safe on the road. Sniper's not necessarily what we were looking for, but you believe you'd be capable in any sort of fight or protection? Yeah, yes, ma'am. And November sort of considers for a moment. I have experience with providing cover to comrades. And November kind of, considers her for a bit, and says, well, the offer's for 40 coin. And November, instead of responding to that, the man you're working for, is he good at what he does? Is he, know what he's doing? Which Cherry, caught off guard for a second, considers him. Yes, I would very much say that he is. I've been working for him for about a month, and he's a bold decision maker, and it's paid off for him quite well. November doesn't say anything for a little while, and then eventually says, I don't need the 40 coin. I'll take food, board if needed, and resources. Resources? Ammo, other supplies for cleaning, bandages, whatever comes up. Resources. And then Cherry, extends a hand. It sounds like I'd be happy to hire you, miss. And November extends a hand. Vandros. There you go. There's your scene I had to do
Good
by
job.
myself.
You did it. You did it. Get used to it, motherfucker. Get used to it.
This is
Yeah.
why I made November someone who doesn't talk much, so I could avoid doing that.
Practice. Oh boy. Okay.
You know what? It's fine. When I hit level 11, I'll have another character as well, and then Swede will have to do it, and we'll all be talking to ourselves.
See, I specifically like Murray and Bella. It made sense they would actually talk to each other a lot, and this is something I deliberately avoided. Where if there, November would not be particularly like Cherry as a character. November would talk to the least realistically. Not that they'll never talk, but
Just
It's
doesn't find
less-
her particularly, like, enthralling.
well, it's more November as her boss. She has obvious reason to talk to Lydian, and her commanding officer in this case from her point of view. And then Nico, she just has a lot more in common with and a lot more common ground to talk about. So yeah,
I more meant like Cherry just doesn't find like her all that like, oh, I want to find out what she's about.
no, Cherry would be interested in her, but that's November isn't very communicative, at least not yet.
Okay.
She's pretty secretive about things. So yeah, I assume we meet up and you guys see November.
Yep. So yeah, Lydian's probably just like doing inventory on the cart when you two are kind of approaching. It's like, oh, Cherry, and it's lovely to meet you, Miss
Vandross. November Vandross. So I will say, so November, she's about, oh fuck, I'm bad at doing this conversion. Sorry, one sec. She's not particularly a bit on the short side, not super short, a little shorter than Azor. You can say that. Definitely shorter than Cherry. She is an elf like you. She has sort of silvery white hair, golden eyes. She's wearing this sort of off-gray, almost like mottled cloak, with the hood pulled up, sort of hiding most of her person. Though you can see that she has a rifle slung, ready to draw. And the other thing that Cherry wouldn't have noticed, but might jump out to you, she is wearing an eye patch over her right eye, which she would presumably be using to fire. Which Cherry would be oblivious to that, but just throwing that out there.
Yeah, Lydian.
I don't know if Lydian's like with it combat wise enough to recognize, hey, a sniper with an eye patch over there,
Probably not for the right
dominant
reasons.
hand.
Lydian isn't like totally ignorant to like working with cell swords and mercenaries. Not a common part of the job, but as a businessman, he knows enough to know what to look for. Somewhat, but it's a varied world, and he's just looking. I think he does clock a strange choice, but also kind of a Cherry choice, if that makes sense.
Well, Cherry wouldn't know.
I know Cherry wouldn't know, but it's like in Lydian's mind, she naturally gravitates towards the interesting anyway, whether she can see it or not. Not quite an eye for it, but a sense for it of some kind.
So yeah, Cherry, speaks up saying, she's a steal. She says she'll only work for food, board, and resources, as she puts it, ammo and the like.
My word, Nico hovers in. Another test subject.
That's mighty interesting, Lydian says.
Oh, also important note, she has a falcon perched on her shoulder. A gray falcon.
It's a 2-for-1 deal, it seems.
My word, is that a... Okay, wait, give me a second.
Giving you many seconds, Swede.
Many seconds. Is he going to play something on the soundboard that I've got muted?
Is that a falco?
It's a gray falcon. Flores just says from the cart. She looks at it and how old is the falcon?
Oh wow. it would be at least. It would be older than the war. What year did the war start?
Bit.
Yeah, turned it back on you, huh?
Oh no.
Because the thing is, there is a specific date when the Falcon would like. I can give a year. I just need to know.
Let me see. The war started after. I want to say. Let's see. So this was 3005, 2004, 05, 04,
So let's say this would be
or 03.
would have been born about the start of the war,
Okay.
maybe a little bit after. No, about the start. About the start, yeah, because would
Yeah.
have had time to become an adult by the time in November joined. November met Aquilo in the second year of the war, but like early after about a year. A year has passed.
I would say 04. Yeah, probably. So
So probably about 4 years old now.
yeah. So yeah, Flora just says it's a gray falcon. It's about 4 years old. Looks and she just says exactly which region it's from as well. And the Dwight
Yeah.
looks at her like,
It would be from the Iron Mountains
yeah,
or
from
the Titanium Heights.
from the
Right.
yeah, about 4 years old. It's from the Titanium Heights. Titanium Heights, more to the west than the more to the west and the east. And Dwight looks at her and just says, like, "You really know your animals."
That is
November is sort
mighty-
of impressed with that knowledge. That's correct. This is Aquilo.
Suddenly
We've
made
been
you
fighting
talkative.
together for years now.
That's mighty interesting knowledge, Flora, but something else is taking mine. See, my name's Lydian Mintha. I'm traveling up and down this land seeking business opportunities, hoping to put good people in work and line my pockets. Improve the land day by day. That's what I work for. I'm curious what you're working for, because it sounds just like you're trying to work for subsistence.
November, considers for a bit. Just need work.
People
Not trying to
think
save money for anything.
that doesn't compute with Lydian whatsoever. No higher end, no go. Cherry day by day fights banality. Nico here fights, I don't
For
know,
science!
fights for science.
I
I fight for my interests. You can't just be in this line of work without some higher goal, some end goal at the very least.
no, this is fine. They can be. Then that means they don't have any ambitions that get in the way of helping me test my inventions.
You're an inventor?
No, I am not an inventor. I am a scientist. Behold. Holding Nico pulls out the. Actually, wait.
Actually,
No. Yeah, Nico just pulls out like the chaotic amplification cannon. Behold! With this, I can amplify the cold energy by removing the heat energy of a certain area I point to.
November is actually immediately pretty impressed and intrigued by this, eyebrows, and just sort of walks, up to Nico, crouches down to look at it. I see. How long have you had this? You made this yourself?
Oh, yes, I've had it for a while. I made it myself. Should I demonstrate? Of course I will. Nico aims
November
at
nods. Yeah.
Actually, is Dwight in the room?
Dwight's on the cart.
yeah.
Aiming
Lydian
at Dwight?
steps away from the cart, sensing where this is going.
Aiming at Dwight?
Oh, wait, hold on.
The fires on his leg.
Oh, it's so cold. Oh.
See, it instantly encases their target in ice.
Impressive. And it's non-lethal.
Yeah,
I can see a
yeah.
lot of use for this. This is very impressive.
Oh, of course, I have many uses for it. Isn't it fantastic?
You haven't sold it yet on contract? A lot of
Selling
military's
it.
guards, I'm sure, would be interested in buying this.
This is still in the prototype stages. Besides, I
You're
don't deal with I don't deal with salespeople.
well, I'm glad to know our new party member has a fine head on his shoulders. You'll get along fine
Yeah.
here with that thinking, though. I can tell you're withholding, but for now I won't pry. If you say you're willing to work just to be put up to get food, ammo, resources, what have you, then I will gladly supply, but just know it's my custom that such acts are rewarded in coin. But money
Understood.
can be exchanged for goods and services.
Yeah. November does, after once dismissed, does, is very curious though, and asking. Actually, no, we can play this out a bit more. Asks Nico, "May I try it?"
Well, normally I don't let people do it, but this once you may.
Anything I need to be aware of? Any special techniques?
Well, on this dial, this dial you adjust the intensity of removing the heat wave, the heat energy. And also you have to squeeze the trigger. And also this is the aiming reticule. Blah, 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 blah. That should well to go.
Yeah,
Right.
So explains. She gives Aquilo, picks up, a rock or something like that. Has Aquilo fly up, wordlessly. Aquilo knows to fly up with it, drop it, and then she starts shooting the rocks out of the air with the freeze gun, testing its, speed, accuracy, its effects on something solid like rock, that sort of thing. Very interested in this.
And they could
And
just,
repeatedly asking Nico questions like, what does it use for fuel? Very technical questions about the
oh yeah,
operation.
well, you see, it actually works by converting heat into cold energy. Of course, this means that it has a limit on its fire rate. I experimented with ammo, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and just both of them just standing on.
And November's completely engaged the entire time. Very fascinated and impressed by this contraption.
Nico actually starts showing all the invention. And this was the steam emitter rod. I trashed it for other invention, but I used it on Dwight. Oh yeah, Dwight is just still has a leg encased in
Yeah,
ice.
he's just trying to he's got Flora with an ice pick, basically. Going very carefully, and he just looks at Lydian and says you should offer workman's comp as long as Nico's around.
Well, yeah, but he only does that to you, and you're about to start working at the casino, so.
Oh, true enough.
My word, I never realized I could have used stones to test
From now
this.
on, Dwight, the only thing you have to worry about freezing is my assets.
You mean not freezing them?
Exactly. Why you gotta
Oh yeah,
worry?
Meanwhile, Nico is and yes, Dwight has been an excellent test subject. Sadly, we're not going to have it anymore. Still, I recommend if you want to, just take aim at him. Yeah, it yields interesting results.
I'm familiar enough with my weapon.
Well, I'm glad Nico's now got somebody to talk to.
Yeah, they should get along.
Jerry, on that note, this is a mighty interesting choice from you.
What makes you say that?
Well, I can sense there's something deeper going on there, but you seem to be drawn to people who have a story. She has one. I can feel it.
Oh, I'm sure. She's a soldier, natural born one, clocked it immediately. I was surprised to find her, frankly. Most of the people were, veterans of the war, but they were all drafted or just did a short tour of duty. people like her, they tend to join up and stay in for life. So at her age, what's she doing out of the service?
And if she was money motivated, well, she would have led with that rather than just doing this for the bare minimum.
People like that, they don't know a life outside of the service. And I mean, look at her. Doesn't exactly seem someone well adjusted to civilian life. But that's what we want, isn't it? Someone who will take orders and not screw them up, not someone who thinks they're some hero in a serial or something like that.
We'll find out. She's gonna be put to the test pretty immediately. We're on to Yuma. Oh,
All right.
I suppose we'll deal with it in Marion.
So what's your route? What route are you planning to take?
How time sensitive did the situation in Yuma sound?
Not too time sensitive. Just that this has been happening on and off for like a bit. So it's not like it's gonna stop suddenly.
Okay. Do you think it's worth doing the road route, or do you think we should skip right to Taran and then follow on from there, or beeline for Marion? I don't know.
I think it would make sense to beeline to Marion.
Could be more
You
fun.
know,
Not ignoring the roads. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. It's because ignoring Custer has so little like road access to anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, usually if we were taking it safe and slow,
Yeah.
tends us to Tarrant to Marion, but let's beeline it.
I mean,
Also,
we could beeline it to Tarrant, but
Beeline
that it's up to you.
let's beeline to Tarrant.
Like in character, I think that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can follow the road, but also it gives us it gives us a bit of an excuse to. I mean, we kind of got to go around anyway because the Giants Monastery. I'm imagining that's still on some kind of fucking lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lydian does want to test the new recruit a little bit. You know what? Yeah, let's shoot for Marion. Lydian
Go
wants
straight.
Yeah, I want to offload Dwight as soon as possible. Get that boy to work. All right. We're going from Custer straight up to Marion. From there, following the road to Yuma. So, Scout Sniper. Let's get a first-hand look at your abilities.
All right. I'll scout ahead.
Right.
Ooh, something Cherry does ask. Actually, well, we can wait till we're traveling to have this conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, I've got 5 uses of dungeon rations. Cool. God, we haven't been
Oh, yeah,
been here for a while.
Yeah, you guys should. Check
We'll
it
give
out.
one to November. Oh no, never mind. I actually have 5. I forgot. I do start with dungeon rations. Never mind.
Nice.
Swede, do you got dungeon rations?
Oh, let me actually check. Yeah, I have dungeon rations.
All right, we're good to go then.
Yep.
We're on the
Very
road again.
cool. On the road again. I can't wait to be on the road again. All right. Well, in that case, it's time to undertake a perilous journey. Let me just quickly remind myself of the order of operations here. Okay, so our order of operations here, I believe.
There's got to be an
Well,
irony in that
undertake a
November is
perilous
probably not the best scout we have because she's level 1.
She will be.
I know
But yeah,
she
at
will
level
be,
1,
but-
that's the
Yeah.
concern that like at level 1 she really doesn't have any of the moves. She has like one of the moves that makes her, mechanically what she is, and even then it's relatively,
All right, so first we need to scout ahead.
Okay. So roll wisdom. I don't even have a +2 in wisdom yet.
Do we
Oh
want to
my.
actually? Do we want to? Do we? Should we just go ahead? Or should we want to like actually?
No, I think it's fine. It's just this was my other concern with hiring her now is like especially with the XP deficit. Like I kind of need to be level 2 before November really starts, becoming herself, so to speak, mechanically. But let's just cross our fingers, shall we?
Let's cross our fingers and hey, it's an XP. It's an XP if she fails.
Yeah.
It's a step closer. It's a awkward first day.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, close. That +1 saved her. Alright,
Alrighty.
So yeah,
Oh.
just safety when you get the drop on whatever lies ahead.
Okay. Now someone needs to navigate.
Which I think Lydian, or I think Nico, is the better equipped for that mechanically, I believe.
I shall drive.
I think that's it, right?
That is
It is
it.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we've been having Lydian do it because in character he is, but let's have Nico.
Lydian is like, Nico, I know you're young, but it's time for you to learn how to drive a cart.
I'm not always going to be there for you, and when I'm gone, you're going to need to know how to drive the cart.
And Jerry can't teach you because, well, you know.
I've got a really bad joke I'm not going to say, but... She's one of them women folk.
Whoa. I guess some old values still existed.
See, this is like we have the split. On one hand, we have November, who's out girl bossing it in the combat role in the field, but then we also have Cherry managing provisions, cooking for it's the balance.
Nico just roll in
Did
then.
their conversation pass the Bechdel test?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. You make good
Well,
time.
they did eventually talk about a man during the conversation.
That's true, yeah. It was about, hey, do you want to go work for a man?
I was gonna say, while Nico is driving, you're like, I think of things I can do. Like the wheels. I could have a much better suspension system. And
Well,
and I could. And really, look at that. Look at that. I could convert this cart into like a mobile home.
They already have those, Nico.
Yeah, but mine would be better.
That's true. We are just kind of putting spins on old stuff anyway.
Imagine I could activate the crane arms so we could lift a cargo in. I know. And we will replace the horsepower with the proper power.
Sounds like a pipe dream to me.
Why, Lydian, I have an idea. Have you ever heard of a bicycle?
No, I've never heard of a bicycle. Do I look like a man who's heard of a bicycle?
Well, anyway, it's a device you sit on and you use pedals to move forward. I could install that as the driving mechanism, and using gear ratios, we could get incredible power from just a man pedaling.
The thing is, I can picture Hemlock with like a penny farthing, and yet somehow I can't picture it with like a safety bicycle, despite, we definitely have had mechanical contraptions that are way more complex than a safety bicycle.
Yeah. And
It's
anyway,
just
but
absurd
and Lydian,
safety.
consider your size, you could use the exercise.
I get plenty
Like
of
I can
walking
buy
done.
skateboards, but a safety bicycle feels wrong to me.
Anyway, navigation +10. Yeah, I just avoid anything.
Yeah.